All right, we've worked with ratios, and now we're going to talk about a special kind of ratio that's called a rate. And a rate is when a ratio is used to compare two different kinds of measurement, we call it a rate. For example, there we go. Find the rate as a ratio of distance to time. All right, distance is 133 yards compared to time, 7 seconds. Now it says to simplify your answer, and I think you're going to find in this lesson that most of the time the denominator goes into the numerator evenly. So if I divide 7 into 133, all right, this is only going to go one time. 7, 63, that's 9. All right, it did go evenly. So I get 19, let me write that neater, 19 yards per second. Now, you don't have to write the yards per second because it's included in part of the answer sentence. You're going to put in the numerical value of 19. So you can expect in this lesson for the denominator to divide into the numerator evenly. Let's look at the next one. Might need a little more room. It says a passenger car will go 363 miles on 16.5 gallons of gasoline in city driving. What is the rate in miles per gallon? Miles per gallon. When it says that, it definitely tells you to put 336 miles on top and 16.5 gallons on bottom. Miles per gallon. They are using the abbreviation MPG. All right, so let's just see what that turns out to be. We will divide 16.5 into 363. We remember from a previous lesson that the divisor has to be a whole number, so I moved it one place, move this one place, put the decimal up here. Now I don't know how many times 165 goes in here, but I'm going to guess that maybe it goes in 2 times. Okay, it's just a guess. 165 divided and multiplied by 2, that's 10. Carry the 1, that's 12. 13, carry the 1, that's 330. So it actually was a good guess, 330. Whoops. 330. Subtract, I get, bring down the 0, I get 330. So it's 22. And 2 times that is 330. And it went in evenly. So this is 22 miles per gallon. And in this answer sentence, they're using MPG to represent miles per gallon. You will fill in with the 22 or whatever your answer is in your question. Let's look at this one. A car is driven 825 miles in 15 hours. What is the rate in miles per hour? Okay, so that's 825 miles, abbreviation, 15 hours, abbreviation. So I'm going to divide 15 into 825. All right, it's going to go in there about 5 times. 5 times 15 is 75. Subtract, I have to borrow, get 75, get another 5, and this terminates nicely. So this is equal to 55 miles per hour. They use the abbreviation MPH. So you'll just fill in the 55. All right, let's look and see what the next one says. Oops. There we go. It says a basketball player had scored 921 points in 33 games. What was the rate in points per game? Simplify your answer. Type an integer or a decimal. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. Okay, so I know this is 921 points per 33 games. And I want to know how many points per game. So I'm going to divide 33 into 921. 33 doesn't go into 9, but it goes into 92, so my answer is going to look like this. I'm going to go ahead and put a decimal and a 0 because it said, well, maybe 2 zeros, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. All right, 33 goes into 92. It's only going to go 2 times. 2 times 33 is 66. Subtract, I have to borrow, gives me a 6 and a 2, and bring down the 1. 33 into 261, maybe 6 times. Let's see, 33 times 6, that's 18, carry the 1, 6, that's another 18. No, that's too small. Let's try 7. That's 21, carry the 2, 21, oops, 23, that's better. So 7 times 33 is 231. That gives me 30, and I bring down a 0. And now it's going to be, let me think, maybe 9. Let's see, 33 times 9. That's 27, carry the 2. That's 27. 297, so that's good. 9 times 33 is 297. The reason that I am going further is because it said to round to the nearest tenth, and I can't round to the tenths unless I know what the hundredths is. When I subtract here, I get a 3, I bring down a 0, and 33 doesn't go into 30, so the next digit would be a 0. That would say drop that off, so this is approximately 27.9 points per game. And I rounded to the nearest tenth. So make sure you look at the instructions that'll be in blue close to your answer box. And we would put in 27.9 here. All right, I think we have one more to look at. It says impulses in nerve fibers travel 471 kilometers in 3.8 hours. What is the rate, sometimes called the speed, in kilometers per hour? All right, let's see. I have 471 kilometers, that's the abbreviation, in 3.8 hours, that's the abbreviation. So let's divide 3.8 into 471. Move that one place, add a decimal point, move it one place, add a 0. It says round to the nearest integer. Now an integer is like a positive or negative whole value. It's a whole value. So 38 doesn't go into 4, but it does go into 47. So I put those up there. You might need a 0. 38 goes into 47 one time. That's 38. Subtract. Add to borrow. I get 9, and I bring down the 1. And it's only going to go in there 2 times, I think. And 38 times 2, 16, carry the 1, that's 76. 8, 1, subtract for 5, subtract for 1, bring down a 0. 38 into 150, I'm going to guess 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry the 3. That's 12. That's 152. Ooh, that's too big. So it's going to have to be 38 times 3. See, that 152 was bigger, so I couldn't use it. That's 24. Carry the 2. That's 9, 11. So 3 gives me 114. Now I'm going to round to the nearest whole, to the nearest 1. I have to know this digit to do that. So I'm going to borrow. That'll give me 6. This is a 4. So we're going to subtract for 3. Bring down a 0. I think that's going to be pretty big. I think I'll get rid of all this work. You can look back in the video and see it earlier if you needed to. Let's say about 9 times. 38 times 9. 72. Carry the 7. That's 27, and 7 is 34. So that worked. And I really don't care what else happens because I'm supposed to round to the nearest integer, which is the whole value, and the 9 tells me to round up. So this is approximately 124 kilometers per hour. So going back to the very beginning part of this lesson, when it talks about a rate, all of these rates, they're wanting to know in a form that is usually called a unit rate. And with a unit rate, you're comparing to one quantity in the bottom. So instead of 133 yards per 7 seconds, it wants to know how many yards per 1 second. How many miles per 1 gallon? How many miles per 1 hour? And so that's why I did my division on each one of these. So they don't actually mention it in this section, but these are actually going to be unit rates, and we're going to do more with them in your next lesson.